Today I'm going to talk a little bit about choosing a real estate strategy. I think this can be one of the toughest things for a new real estate investor to figure out. So how do you choose a strategy? Well, in most cases I think there's a little bit of trial and error involved. It could be that you have an idea where you want what you want to do. Maybe you like rehabbing, or you've decided that you want to build a strong rental portfolio. Maybe it's wholesaling, the fact that you can get started with little or no cash of your own. There's also an equal chance that you have no idea where to start. Whatever your strategy, I highly recommend that you start with residential real estate, specifically single-family homes. Why single-family homes? Because everyone understands them. They're easy to rent and they're easy to sell, whether you're going to sell them to another investor or to an end buyer, a retail buyer. Everyone is familiar with them. The strategy that you choose initially will most likely be influenced by whether or not you have a real estate background. For instance, if you are from a family of where your parents were landlords and every night at dinner you got rental repair calls, chances are you're not going to want to pursue this strategy. I found that folks from this background have very strong opinions on the subject. On the other hand, if you have no real estate experience, it's very likely that you won't be clear on a strategy, and that's okay. For most people, after they have tried one or more strategies, they finally settle on one that's a fit for them. And personally, that's what I did. My dad was a contractor when I was growing up, and he was always dragging me around to job sites, and I loved it. When I decided to go into real estate investing, I knew I wanted to go into rehabbing. I love rehabbing. But there are some pitfalls, some challenges that you need to be aware of. One of the things is that a newbie real estate investor has to learn how to buy properties cheap enough. Let's face it, when you're brand new, your negotiating skills aren't the best. You need to remember that the day you buy the property is the day you make your money. So it's likely that if you pay too much on that day, you may not make money on your rehab. I also decided that I wanted to be a buy and hold landlord. I knew this was the way to build long-term wealth. Well, I stuck it out for about 4 or 5 years before I threw up my hands and said, life is just way too short to be this miserable. It just wasn't a strategy that I enjoyed. I have a good friend that has upwards to 100 houses at any given time. He loves rentals, and that's his primary strategy for real estate investing at this time. And he said to me one day, Sharon, what you have is a painful hobby. If you want to do this as a business, you need at least 25 to 50 houses. It was at that point that I sold all of my rentals, and I've never looked back. I have a lot of friends that love this strategy, but it just wasn't for me. For me, the strategy that I ultimately fell in love with was wholesaling. I took a look at what I did well, where my strengths were, and that was in the area of marketing. And I took my knack for marketing and I used it to find motivated sellers and to build a buyer's list. I also love that you can make big chunks of cash with wholesaling. That's a major plus for me. I looked at my long-term business plan and I knew that I could outsource a lot of these marketing activities ultimately, so that played a part as well. In the end, I believe that the strategy will choose you. There will be one or more strategies that you just can't wait to get up and work on each day. And when you find that, you'll know that you've made the right decision. It will almost certainly involve some trial and error. This is Sharon Vornholt, and thanks for spending some time with me today. If you get a chance, stop by my blog, the Louisville Gals Real Estate Blog.com, where you'll find more tips on investing in real estate.